Mark, thank you to be here with us today in Monaco on the occasion of LIM Conference to share Dublin experience regarding smart city and electric mobility. Dublin has been for several years an attractive capital of Europe for businesses in the field of technologies, and the city is also under the spotlight due to sustainable development policies. So Mark, could you explain us how Dublin drives its attractiveness for convincing innovative businesses and skilled people committed to an economic and sustainable development to join and be part of this global strategy?
Sure, yeah. Dublin, obviously, one of the largest city in the island of Ireland, and is really an engine of growth for the country. And for that reason, of course, we're a focus for some of our state agencies. So we have a very successful industrial development agency, another organization called Enterprise Ireland, and then large companies who are successful here do a sales job for Dublin also, so they have a good experience, and you get more foreign direct investment on foot of that. But of course, as the city of Dublin, it's our job to make sure that they're not just coming to Ireland, but they're also understanding how attractive Dublin city is itself. So we do spend an awful lot of time working with multinationals and startups as well to explain to them how attractive a space Ireland is, not just for low corporate rates of tax, not just for young and highly educated population, but also because a lot of the other things that we have to offer here in the city are very attractive too, particularly businesses that are looking for innovation. We're really pushing hard on disruptive technologies, for example.
So one of Dublin's main concerns is transportation. Can you explain us Dublin's strategy for transport, provided solution for Dubliners and tourists, EV cars, ICT users experience, cycling and walking policies?
Yeah, I mean, Dublin has some challenges. You mentioned that you'd been to Dublin before, so you've experienced them. The transportation system in Dublin is not ideal. The city's grown quite quickly, and it's quite spread out. It's a low rise, and although the central business district is quite compact, people who are commuting are coming from quite long distances. One of the issues we also have is that it's a heritage city, so it grew quite organically in the beginning, so we don't have a grid system. So all of these things mean that the logistics of getting through the city are a challenge. Some of the responses that we've had have been large, involved big infrastructure. So we spent 900 million euro on a tunnel that takes trucks from the port out close to the airport, and so they don't come to the city anymore. And in fact, we put a ban on large trucks in the city centre, and that has great, for livability of the city, it's great for air pollution, etc. But it also means that the rest of the vehicular traffic moves more easily, and so cycling becomes a better proposition. In terms of the ICT, we've been doing a lot of work with some large companies to really try and optimize the traffic flow in the city.
Okay, so Dublin offers also an e-carpooling system with the support of one of the biggest electric car manufacturers. So is the system focused for the city staff transport, and is it planned for population?
Yeah, I mean, electric vehicles are actually a national priority, and so Dublin plays its part within that. So we have quite high targets for electric car penetration. As I think everybody in the conference and issue is, people won't buy the cars until there's the infrastructure. It's hard to pay for the infrastructure before there's the demand from users. But Dublin and Ireland have decided we're going to put in the infrastructure ready for high penetration of electric cars, and we're looking at the grid impact of electric cars as well. So we have a national system of car charging points, so you can get from, it's a small country, but you can get from one side of the country to the other with electric cars. We have home charging units, we have fast chargers in petrol stations. So I think it's a very good story actually for electric vehicles in Ireland, and we're ready for when the manufacturers come out with vehicles that excite the public and that they want to buy. But we use, in Dublin City, we have electric cars that we use as a pool system. So instead of our staff taking taxis, they can book themselves into the electric car. And of course, not only do we save in terms of money for the fuel of the car, because it's less than €2 to fully charge one of our vehicles, but also you save on the taxi. And so already for us, there's a cost benefit, which is what drives the the uptake of these things.
So I also saw Dublin, thanks to IBM, whose vice president will be with us today for the conference, set up a smart dynamic urban dynamic team to focus on developing analytics and tools to better understand urban dynamics. So can you explain us this project?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we have a very good relationship with IBM. I hope the IBM representative will agree with me and be nodding furiously when I say that. And it's a real partnership working approach. As I said, we're seeking to get innovation in the city, and IBM have brought that. So they work literally directly with our traffic engineers to optimize the system, and also for IBM to develop their product. IBM are also helping us with water pressure management, and are really looking throughout the city to find data sets and points at which they can intervene and use telematics and ICT to make the system work better.
So regarding information and communication, sharing experiences with the end users, how does the city manage to raise awareness to change behaviors?
Yeah, we have like different forums that we communicate with our residents through, and one of those forums is called Your Dublin, Your Voice, and it's a stakeholder panel. So we query them on different issues relating to the city. We also in the city have large panels. So purely on a logistic level, when there's high congestion in some areas, we have really quite large panels on the street that communicate in real time with commuters. But that also gives us the opportunity to tell them about other aspects, such as our performance for road safety. So it's another communication tool. Another thing that I have that I haven't seen in other places is in a few locations in the city, we have a screen that tells you how many cycle trips have been taken along that street in that day, and then has an aggregate number. So you begin to realize, that you don't see cyclists as easy as you see cars, but the number of journeys taken by cyclists is actually massive, and that's something we'd really like to push. I think, as you had said in your introduction, the modal split that we're seeking to achieve in the city is, quite an impressive one.
So I guess Dublin is always in a way of improvement. So what are the next steps for electric mobility and for the city of Dublin?
Higher penetration. So as I said, that we've put in the infrastructure in many places, and that's an ongoing project. So we really encourage residents to tell us if there's a location where a charge point should be put in, and then we would tell our partners, in the ESB is the organization that's rolling out these charge points. We would tell them where the demand is. We're also in our car parks putting in electric charge points. And, we promote our use of electric vehicles and hope that the population will respond. I think electric vehicles are improving all the time, and I think it's something that will quite naturally happen. But because I think it's such a change, it takes that little bit of extra effort to make it happen.
So as a concrete example for attracting people in cities' development goals, LIM is designed to provide a response for cities, bringing together public and private actors, students, researchers, people for sharing experiences about mobility in cities through a digital and real-life experience, designed to bring closer mobility innovators in cities and their potential end users. So we're about to launch also the project in Ireland with a girl who's experienced in social media and sustainable development in order to support cities in their sustainable mobility messages. So what do you think about this project, and how do you think we could help cities in Ireland to communicate about sustainable mobility and electric mobility?
Well, I'm delighted to hear that we're going to have help making the city better. We're very lucky to have multinationals who can provide, big data analytics and city sensing technologies. But of course, there's another layer on that that's really going to make the difference in the city. And that's, as you said, the end users, and then the people who are creating the apps and the interfaces and the new ways of thinking. And that's also something that we actively try and encourage in the city. And so we try and test bed technologies. So, for example, with Intel, we're doing a City Watch app, and that uses mobile phones as sensors and also as a public engagement tool. But in the same way, we work with two-person small companies who are looking to try and use mobile phones as an assistant to navigating the city for people who are visually impaired, for example. So yeah, we really try and keep an open mind and give everybody, not just large companies, but also small companies, the opportunity to test their products in the city, to be like in a laboratory.
Okay, so as a Dublin City representative today, what kind of messages would you like to spread about smart cities and electric mobilities? So what messages for cities, for private mobility actors, and for people?
I think it's in a very exciting time. I mean, I've been working in Dublin City Council for just over 5 years now, and I've seen that the pace of change is massively accelerating. And one of the things that I think it's important to remember is to have open standards. So if we're really going to be able to work between academia, public sector, businesses, SMEs, entrepreneurs, everybody has to be able to essentially plug in to everybody else's innovation. So as a city, we've adopted an open data policy, and we have an open data platform called Dublinked for anybody who wants to have a look at it. And that would be one of my strongest messages, and it's echoed as well by the Commission, the European Commission, who are saying it's great to have these innovations, and we really want large companies to be involved, but proprietary systems that lock cities into a particular technology is not the way to go. We want to procure solutions, not the technologies. And if we present the challenges, what we hope is that the people in the city will respond and provide the solutions.
So it's like creating a collaborative city.
Look, that's the most sustainable way to go forward. For finance, for anything, you need a mixed bag of solutions, not just one.
Okay. So thank you very much, Mark, for being with us today, sharing Dublin experience. We understood Dublin is one of the places to be to drive change for smart cities and transportation plans, especially thanks to the use of ICT. Slán leat, Mark.
Slán leat. Bye. Happy Patrick's Day.